Hello everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Kindle sample to try to cut down on the big old list of Kindle samples that I have that for some reason gets bigger every time we do it. So, this time we are looking at Chronicles of the Black Company by Glenn Cook. So this is a compilation of 3 Black Company novels, The Black Company, Shadows Linger, and The White Rose. Now, I heard about the Black Company books from Matt Colville, who is a D&D and kind of game designer guy on YouTube. If you're a D&D person, especially a dungeon master, go find his YouTube channel. He's amazing. But he talked about the Black Company as being an inspiration for some of the stories that he wrote and some of the D&D adventures that he created. And so I kind of thought, well, I should look these up someday. And I have. So, what does the cover tell us? Because we do judge by covers here. We've got it looks very swashbucklery. It's all in brown. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it being all in brown. I like more color. But we got people with swords. We got people with knives. We've got a mysterious lady in the middle. We've got a big spiky thing. Lots of spikes. Lots of spikes. So yeah, it has a very sort of grim fantasy feel to it. That's kind of what I'm expecting to run into. So let me read the sample and I'll come back and tell you what I think. All right? Stick around. All right. That was fun. This is a long sample, actually. I was kind of surprised how much of it they're sort of giving it to us. But it does help us get the sense of what the Black Company is and what kind of stories Cook is trying to tell with his Black Company. So our narrator is a guy named Croker. He is sort of the doctor scientist for the Black Company. Black Company is a group of mercenaries who are willing to do the job for whoever pays the money. I think this is a neat concept because the main characters in the book are not good guys, classically speaking. They are not doing things because the right thing must be done. They are not doing things because the law must be upheld. They're not doing things necessarily to stop evil. In fact, they're actually quite allied with evil, it seems like, in a few places. They are doing what they are paid to do. And they're trying, their main sort of loyalty, so I suppose secondary to their employer, but their main loyalty is to the company, right? The Black Company. You protect your own. And that's really important. And it seems like that throughout the sample, whenever there is a moment where they have to say, for example, to do what their patron wants them to do or to protect their own people, they generally default to protecting their own people, right? So these are not good people necessarily. As we read through and we meet a bunch of characters, lots and lots of characters. As we meet these characters, we learn that a lot of them come from criminal backgrounds. They're running away from a life of crime or running away from their other responsibilities in life. They are not people to whom the law is important. Does that mean that they're not good people or decent people or kind people? No, not necessarily. But they're not sort of heroes in the sense that we would expect from a fantasy novel. So the book starts with Croker and the Black Company. They are fighting in the city called Beryl, which is the queen of the jeweled cities. And I'm looking forward to seeing that sort of theme continue for the rest of the world, all these cities named after jewels. There are some riots in Beryl. There's a were-leopard coming out of ancient tombs. The Black Company are somehow complicit in a coup. They get a lot of stuff done in this sample. Many things happen. And I can understand, I can see how this book would be a really good inspiration for a D&D story if your players want to play people who are morally gray. If your players, and if you want to run a game where the goal is to protect each other, protect yourselves, get out the other side intact, and if you do some good along the way, that's fantastic, but that's not necessarily the goal of the story. So yeah, they are basically being used kind of as pawns by one of these 10 powerful sources. They're called the 10 who were taken. And way back in the before times, before the story starts, these are 10 very powerful sorcerers who were ultimately defeated and, I guess, entombed. They're working under someone called the Dominator and the Lady. They were imprisoned, but now they are out. If you've ever read Wheel of Time, it's got a bit of a Forsaken feel to it. And now they're out roaming the world and fighting amongst themselves. Very much like the Forsaken in a lot of ways. To check that out. But yeah, this one called the Soul Catcher is now employing Black Company and is using them to sort of try to gain advantages on their siblings. and the other 10 who were taken. The Shapeshifter, the Soul Catcher, and the Limper are the ones that we meet in this sample. So a lot of this sample is more sort of character than action. There's in fact whole sections where they just say, oh yeah, this big whole battle happened. But it's not really done in a lot of detail. I think what Cook wants is to explore the types of people who would join Black Company and the reasons that they would stay with Black Company and how their bond as a group affects the choices that they make and affects sort of the risks that they're willing to take with each other and for each other, for their patron as well. So it's a really interesting kind of grimdark, grungy fantasy story, you know. One thing that I noticed, it was kind of fun. There was, like I said, there was a capture of a whole fortress that got a paragraph, but then there's whole pages talking about a card game. So, like I said, I think it is a fantasy story that is really interested in the actual lives of the protagonists, the actual lives of the narrator. It's not really about the big political sweeps. It's not really about the kingdoms and the kings and who gets to fulfill prophecies. It's about how do we make it day to day and stay, as many of us as possible, stay alive when there are these vast forces arrayed that are playing chess with the world, and we are but one of their pieces. So it is kind of fun. I like it. I think there's good characters. The morals are kind of murky, which is always nice to see in any kind of fantasy book, to see somebody kind of leaving the path of classic heroic fantasy and doing a bit of experimenting. And like I said, I can definitely see how Colville got some good D&D inspiration out of it as well, because you are offering choices, or the Black Company are offered choices that are not really cut and dried and are not really always easy to see which is the best one. So if you like a bit of grim, dark fantasy, I think you'll enjoy this. I think I'll enjoy this. I should definitely put it on my reading list. If you have read the Black Company stories and you want to talk about them, tell me about them, tell me what I should be expecting, go ahead, put them in the comments, let me know what you think. And if you've applied these to your D&D games, that's even better, because, you know, we're all fans of D&D here. So yeah, let me know what you think. Please subscribe so that you know when the next one's coming out. And I guess I will see you in the next video, all right? Okay, stay well. See you later.